All right, guys, this is for the men or the women who are ending a divorce relationship. Here's some of the things that I've learned from my relationships. Here's some of the things that I think will help you the best. And the first thing is to understand why the relationship ended. And a lot of times people live in other people's values when they get excited about someone. They'll get so excited that they will give up themselves to go be with someone in order for them to be accepted. So break it down into the simple rule that you understand that you have your own values, they have your own values, they have their own values. When you try to live in their values, you will feel bad about yourself because you're not on your mission, doing the most fulfilling things in your life that will help you fulfill your life. Now, I was lucky enough when I was 39 to finally get on my purpose. For me, that was eating my macros, getting in the best shape of my life, helping to coach other men. So when I got off of that, when I got into a relationship, I got off that. I lost my focus and I infatuated and tried to live in someone else's values. And I did not say, this is me from the beginning because I thought I would gain more. This happens subconsciously, but you'll see it in your relationships. You'll try to gain more from the relationship by trying to be someone who you think that they would like. Now, women will do this too. If you're really excited about a guy and you think he will bring more benefit, more gain than loss in your life, you will try to get the person. You'll use sex or whatever, and that's normal. That's totally normal. Nothing wrong with it. I'm not judging anybody about any of this. I don't believe that there's a should or shouldn't. I'm just letting you know this is how human behavior works. This is what I've learned along my path, and this is what's helped me the most. So hopefully this will help you. If you try to live in someone else's values, you'll self-depreciate because you're not on your mission. You're not living your best life. Now, people will try to tell you that there is a best life and this is the way you should do it. And I'm not going to tell you that. I'm just going to say this is what's worked for me. And I think it probably is best for most people, but we have these voids in our life and we try to fulfill them. That's what our life's kind of purpose is to fill the voids where we're lacking, what we didn't have growing up, what we want to become to empower ourselves so we have empowerment instead of disempowerment. So it could be money, could be fitness, could be spiritual, could be familial, could be a lot of different areas that you're trying to fulfill. Now, if a woman, let's say she goes through and she infatuates with a guy, she will eventually want her power back. She'll eventually want to, unless the guy continues to be something that she perceives that is so great that she can't get anywhere else, she will continue to do things. Everybody will continue to do things to kind of keep that person around. The problem comes with when you become kind of frustrated. For example, if you start doing a bunch of silly things like going to coffee shops when you don't do that normally, going to eat out at silly places when you don't do that normally, going to the bar, to the clubs to, help this person, going and hanging out with family members that you normally don't hang out to make the other person happy, going and doing things for them when it's really not a good exchange, where you're not getting what you feel like is worth the juice. The juice isn't worth the squeeze. You're not giving up you're giving up your purpose, but what are you getting back? And vice versa. They might be giving up their body, their time, their resources, whatever, vice versa. It goes both ways. So you're trying to get this fair exchange where both people are trading off. And what you'll find is a lot of relationships aren't worth it because they don't have enough to give, or you're not willing to give them what they want. They think that you have something that they want, but they don't, and vice versa. So eventually what you learn, the basic principle is that people will always do what they feel is best for them in their highest values, which means that they'll try to go towards gain and away from pain. Could be go towards money, away from loss of money. Go towards losing weight, away from gaining weight. Go towards someone who they think is attractive, which will give them status on their Instagram, and away from people who are low status, who won't give them attention, fame, money, status, empowerment in their own life, right? A lot of times men look at women for viable, reproduction or youth, health, beauty, things like that. And then, yeah, a lot of times you'll go for that primarily, and you'll realize the juice isn't worth the squeeze. The beauty isn't worth the bullcrap that you have to deal with. Really the bullcrap that you have to deal with is just all that you did was that you disempowered yourself by trying to fit into their worldview. You subjected yourself to their, morals, their shoulds, their shouldn'ts, or their view of the world in order to appease them, in order to get the sex, get the relationship. And eventually you will become resentful sooner or later, 1 year, 5 years, 10 years, and you realize, who am I? What do I want with my life? So if you're a man or if you're a woman, empowering yourself, figuring out your values, getting on your purpose is the best thing you can possibly do. Now, this is hypocritical in the religious people because they say, basically, they will judge you for a lot of times going after your purpose. They will a lot of times judge you for, not believing in what they believe or not following along with their plan. And there's a bunch of hypocrisies in the church. And I think that I got involved with that and tried to go that direction. And I know people will say, well, it just wasn't the right church. It just wasn't the right people. It's different over here. We all know how that goes. It's different. That was just the wrong one, and et cetera, et cetera. But the point is, it's not what people say they do. It's what they actually do. And you can look at someone's life and see how they live. So men, specifically, I'll talk to you for now. But for women, it's the exact same thing, I believe. Figuring out what your values are, understanding that people live in their highest values, and that the reason someone makes the decision that they do in their life for you, if they want to be with you, if they don't want to be with you, the choices that they make, it's literally all about if they perceive more gain, money, power, status, fame, benefits, resources, than loss. So they're going to go towards you if they feel they're going to have an attraction. They're going to call it love if they see that you fulfill those voids in their life, and they're going to gain from that. They're going to have a prey response, and they're going to have a fear or amygdala response to run away if they perceive, threat, or that you're going to take away their money, fame, power, resources, and lower their status, whatever it is, right? So if you have more power, you're going to be more attractive. That's just the way it is. And really the charisma, and really the only way to get that is by being on your purpose. What is your mission? It's by having a clear path forward on what you enjoy. Do you like shooting pool? I love shooting pool. Do you like riding dirt bikes? I love riding dirt bikes. Do you like being financially independent? I love that. That's probably my highest value, is being financially independent. I have a YouTube channel that pays me, made money coaching. I've invested all that money. I can almost halfway towards retirement. I can take 10 years off of work and I would be fine. I wouldn't have to work, So those are my highest values. Now, if you can figure out what your highest values are and how your highest values helps the other person, and how their highest values help you, maybe they're really into, you have to see what they're actually into, not what they say. You have to see what they're into, see if you guys can help each other, because attraction has no mission and ambition together. It's just attraction. You can be attracted to anybody. Anybody who's attractive is attractive. They might not have a mission or purpose in their life that helps you in your life. And you're going to say, well, your job is to support the person. Okay, but where is the value exchange in that? Why would you stick with someone who's not supporting you and your highest mission and highest purpose? You won't. You'll just go off to someone else or just be by yourself, because you realize that maybe nobody does help you. And you say, well, that's transactional. You're just using, okay, well, what is the other person using you for? Of course it's transactional. They're using you for your money, your resources, your sperms that you can reproduce. Someone to provide for them, to be a good, nice, traditional man, to do all the things that good men are supposed to do, which is a load of crap, which just means meet their needs. But you have to say, where are my needs getting met? Are men not supposed to have any needs? What do you bring to the table? What is worth the value exchange of me signing this sheet of paper in order for the risk to reward ratio to benefit me? And it doesn't look like there is a risk to reward that benefits. Not that I've seen. Now, if you can have, you can have a partnership. It's probably not gonna be very sexy, but you can, run a business together and have mission, and that'll be great. If you can do that, great. But for most people, that's very rare, and I don't think that's likely to happen. Usually women get the babies, it lasts for a handful of years, 5 to 10 years, and then it's done with. On to the next. Or, you've helped each other you've reproduced, you've helped each other reproduce, which is great. It's not supposed to last forever, probably, who knows. And once you guys are not useful to each other anymore, then you just move on. I just saw Kathy Griffith, whatever her name is, this older lady who does TV, is dating one of her employees who's 23. It's like, yeah, she got tired of her husband. This young boy she works with is giving her a lot of attention. She had a void for attention, feeling seen, heard, understood. Sure. Plus, he probably throws it down in bed because he's 23. Probably goes all night. So she's getting good sex from a young, attractive man. And who has the power in the relationship? Obviously, the multi-millionaire, famous person. So that little boy is not going to be able to tell her no. He's going to say yes. He's going to subject himself to her values. It's just going to be a yes boy and a pool boy to have fun and play with and give her attention. There's nothing wrong with that. That's just what they've decided to do. It's meeting her values and it's meeting his values. He's young. He wants probably a mother. She probably is nice to him. She brings a lot of maturity and qualities that he probably didn't have. Who knows what he's getting out of it? Sex, obviously. So, is that interesting? Not that interesting. Once you realize people go towards what helps them fill their voids, what they feel is going to be a gain and less of a loss and more of a gain. But over time, you'll realize nobody will give you anything that you don't already have in yourself. Meaning, if you think this person over here is going to be better for you than this person over here, you'll go over there and you'll get the more attractive girl, and you'll realize, well, the more attractive girl, actually, she doesn't like to be told no. She does not. The only way that she will stick around is if I say yes, 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 and take her places. But your needs aren't getting met. There's a cost to these things, and your brain perceives that there's a lower cost. But once you really get into those relationships with the women who are more attractive, a lot of times, what you'll see is that it's a balance. The less attractive, the more nice. The more attractive, the more narcissistic. The more attractive, the more they're on social media. The more attractive they're more have this power and influence where they can use their attractiveness to go and get multiple people and line those up on the side. So when you're done, they're ready to go to the next one, or when they're done, they have more options. Attractive people have more options. So there's always a downside with the up. I don't believe there's a right or wrong with any of this stuff. I'm just saying, here's human behavior. People go towards what they feel there's going to be more gain, less pain. The other thing you have to understand is people live in their own values. If they like shopping, you better believe that they're not into financial independence if they say they are. Because if they're just spending all of their money, that means you just look at the person's life. Anyways, I'm being redundant. I hope that helps you understand. People live in their own values. If you try to live in someone else's values, you'll become resentful. If you expect other people that you're the right person and they're wrong, they will feel judged and they'll run away. So married men, what's helped me, or women, what's helped me is to get on my purpose, which means getting the best shape of my life. I try to do complicated things. I've got a YouTube channel for cars, got this coaching stuff that I do as well. But my primary thing is to get in the best shape of my life and just live good, live healthy, count macros, get into shape. That's my primary focus right now. And talk. I have a lot of knowledge from experience from relationships and working with a lot of people, a lot of clients. So just wanted to share that with you. Hopefully that helps you clarify it down, that people live in their own values. They go towards what they perceive is going to help them. If you can have an overlap of you guys are helping each other, that will last a little bit longer than just the strong attraction. Strong attraction is infatuation, and usually it's volatile. So go off figure out your values, be on your mission, see how your mission can help them and see how their mission can help you, and you'll figure it out. And if you're a man, you're depressed, and your depression is just an imagination of how things should be, which is a fantasy relative to how it is now. So you can have an imaginary way things should be. Fantasy, total fantasy. It's an infatuation. All ups and no downs, right? That's when you get volatility, manic episodes, depression, volatility, all this stuff. The way people act is the way they act in their values. As long as you know that, girls are going to do these types of behaviors. Hypergamous guys are going to do these types of behaviors. We go after these types of things. They go after this. Those are very strong generalizations, but you can use that. And for men, just stay on your purpose and figure out what that is. You should be figuring that out every day as you go, working towards your purpose, working towards using your ambition, not some fantasy goal, but literally, what does your life demonstrate? My life demonstrates that I like used cars. I like to talk about cars. I like to talk about coaching. I like financial independence is my number one thing. Other than that, I have a couple hobbies, but my values are financial independence, obviously coaching, making money, providing service in exchange for dollars. And I love coaching and teaching. I love talking about cars, love driving them, love dirt bikes, pool. Those are my values. That's how my life lives and demonstrates. I talk into this phone. I value social media. I can use that for coaching. Look at your life and determine what your life shows, not what you say. I know there's a lot in one video. If you want coaching, click the link, jaketaylor.com, and I'll get back to you.